Premier League side next year, or maybe get a big money move to a promoted team. I've seen quite a bit of him this season, and he's a defender who, for me, could probably play a lot of teams that are already in the Premier League, never mind a newly promoted side. Very good with the ball at his feet, a tall, strong central defender. Can also play at left back as well. He's got just about everything in his arsenal to be a top player one day. As Lee Nichols floats the ball forward, Nichols himself having a wonderful season. Here's Onyedinma under pressure from Danny Ward. Onyedinma spinning away from the Huddersfield Town marksman, and now Pelly Ruddock sliding it through for Elijah Adebayo, trying to wriggle his way through past Tom Lees, but Jonathan Hogg did well to get there, but then slips on the ball as Amari Bell leathers a ball straight over the top from a crossing position. So it will be a goal kick, and a couple of frustrating moments, I suppose, there from both sides. It was good play initially from Luton. Adebayo trying to bundle his way through, and then Jonathan Hogg literally just sort of gets the ball caught under his feet, only for Amari Bell's cross from level with the edge of the 18-yard box to almost find the stands, which, if you don't know the John Smith Stadium, the stands are quite a way back from the pitch itself, especially behind the goal. It's not the most imposing and close stadium in the division or in the country, as Amari Bell tries to twist away and does from Pieper. That's a dangerous ball in towards the near post, but Nichols will gather it every day of the week. Nichols just taking his time before getting rid of the ball. He thought a couple of times about bowling it out quickly, and it's a thumbs up for Danny Ward, who was an option making a run forward. Instead, he's chosen to take his time. Find Russell instead into Lees. Now Pieper on the right-hand side. Long ball forward from him, looking for Danny Ward, who's beaten to it. The referee actually has given a free kick against Danny Ward for a high foot. Shake of the head from Ward. As Luton go on nonetheless, with Bradley inside the centre circle. Looking again for options around him. James Bree being the obvious one to his right. Now Onyedinma back to Bree once again, who plays a ball down the channel looking for Alan Campbell. Well read by Lee Nichols, who comes across the left-hand edge of his 18-yard box and picks the ball up before he gets put under any unnecessary pressure. Just looking at the average positions of Huddersfield so far, Jonathan Hogg sort of sat between the two centre-halves on the edge of the 18-yard box as being his average position. Sorba Thomas is the most sort of fourth right player in the side, really. He's the only one who's been over the halfway line so far in terms of average position. Jonathan Hogg desperate to help his side to get themselves back to the Premier League as quickly as possible. Just seeing Carlos Corberán in his hat for the first time this evening. A manager who has really captured the imagination, I think, of a lot of people, and there's some decent clubs reportedly looking at him and seeing what he can do, being impressed with the way that he's taken this Huddersfield Town side and turned them into a bit of a weapon. Last year, the almost Bielsa-esque rock and roll style of football that he took on didn't really work. It took a long time for his side to bed in. This year, he's been a lot more conservative, but also had that entertaining streak to them. The one thing they've lacked is ruthlessness at times. There's been games where they haven't taken the chances that they should have taken. There's a long ball forward, just invites Tom Lees to make a mistake. Lees does well to find Pieper, rides away from Amari Bell, and then goes back to Tom Lees. Lees will find Nichols. Nichols will take a touch on the edge of his 6-yard box and find Jonathan Hogg. Now Colwell on this left-hand side. His attempted clearance is blocked. Colwell then does well to just nip in and win it. And then a little 1-2 with Jonathan Hogg. And it's Colwell who's breaking forward. And that's a lovely crossfield ball. It's just ever so slightly overhit out towards Daniel Sanani. Initially, it looked almost picture perfect from the Chelsea loanee. It was just ever so slightly too overhit. This is what Levi Colwell does. He brings a lot of positivity to defending. He's happy to break forward and cause problems that way. And just seen it again, it's not far away at all. 19 minutes gone. Huddersfield Town 0, Luton 0. If you've just joined me, only one sort of half chance, I suppose, really, in this game so far. Lewis O'Brien driving over the bar after a good run down the right-hand side from Sorba Thomas. Here is O'Brien over the halfway line to the left of centre. Got options to his left in Harry Toffolo, but it's Sorba Thomas who takes over. Thomas now into Jonathan Russell, who hits it over the bar. Always rising from Russell, who I think maybe just saw his name in lights there as he took aim. Got one Huddersfield Town goal to his name already this season, the 21-year-old from Hounslow. It's a decent strike from him. Former Chelsea player is Jonathan Russell, started the last 10 games for his side. He's actually won the Under-18 Premier League, Under-18 FA Youth Cup and Under-18 Premier League Cup back in 2017-18. Good treble to have as a young footballer as he battles away in the middle with Henry Lansbury and actually gets the better of the ageing central midfielder, Henry Lansbury. Nathan Jones is furious with the way that Piper Avia managed to drive inside. He was almost jumping up and down like a young child having a temper tantrum. It was that sort of reaction to that. Both managers in their technical area shouting orders as it's Huddersfield coming forward here with Russell into Hogg, just to the right of the centre circle, inside Luton's half. Hogg from right to left finding Coleman. It's good passing to O'Brien. He takes a couple of touches, looking to find his option. Toffolo, the man that he's gone to, and now Colwill into Hogg. Hogg floats it across out to the right-hand side, and Piper try and drive forward himself out to Sinani. Now Russell, Sinani into Hogg. Still just inside the Luton half. They're just passing it from right to left at the moment. Huddersfield, as O'Brien now out to this left-hand touchline, and Toffolo. They've made it up to halfway inside the Luton Town half. Here's Hogg once again. That's a nice ball into Piper Avia. Avia with a little flick over towards Danny Ward. Well watched by James Bree, and then between Naismith and Bradley, they just about managed to deal with it before James Bree hooks it clear. It will be a throw-in for Huddersfield on the right-hand side, but Piper Avia has looked pretty bright as the fullback every time he's got it on the ball. Trying to get forward, trying to cause problems where he can, and ultimately trying to create chances for his side. Here he is with this throw-in now. As Russell continues to move around in front of him, the throw-in is in towards Danny Ward, tries to find Sinani. Really well played initially by Pelly Ruddock, but he's caught in possession 30 yards from goal. O'Brien out to Thomas on this left-hand side. Thomas skipping inside, drills it right-footed. Shot comes in, saved by Shea. Diving to his right-hand side. It's a good strike from, I think it's Daniel Sinani who breaks in field here. It is Sinani. Good ball from Thomas to find him, and Sinani on the turn forces the first save of the game. A little bit of quality from Thomas to play that ball inside. In the end, it's a routine save from Shea. Huddersfield and Luton have scored the second most set-piece goals this season, with 16 each as the corners lofted in. There'll be no goal this time. Bradley headed away only as far as O'Brien on the right-hand side. Gets away from Cornick. Can he keep it in play? Yes, he can. Floats it towards the edge of the 6-yard box, just wide from Tom Lees. Lees is claiming that it came off Adebayo last. Just seeing it again. Dangerous ball in initially from Thomas, away by Sonny Bradley. The Luton line didn't get out anywhere near quick enough. O'Brien able to get away, and then as he floats it into the box, it's actually not come off the head of Tom Lees. I think it's come off the head of Fred Onyedinma. Jonathan Russell not far away at all from nodding it in himself. As the Huddersfield players line up at the back post, it's swung towards the back post. Again, Sonny Bradley's there as Sorba Thomas volleys it towards goal, and it almost catches out James Shea, who, lying on his back, scrambles the ball into his hands. But this is a really, really worrying moment, this, for Luton Town. The shot from Thomas deflected off two players, Sonny Bradley, and then I think that was Levi Colwill in that position up there. James Shea on his back just hoped that the ball would fall into his hands. couple of big chances then from Huddersfield Town. They are building, they are trying to do something. Huddersfield, Luton just having a bit of a difficult spell here as they try and keep their opponents quiet as Colwill goes across and makes sure the ball goes out of play for a Luton throw-in on the halfway line. Here's Lansbury floating a long ball forward. Adebayo will try and bring it down, but he's in an offside position once again. Here's Elijah Adebayo. And that'll be a real frustration for Nathan Jones. Just seeing again this effort from Sorba Thomas that deflected off Bradley onto the shoulder of... Just seeing it again. It was powered towards goal. Bradley's tried to header it away, and he's headed it onto the chest of Levi Colwill, and then it's bounced towards goal. James Shea already dived across to his right-hand side, which is why he was on the floor scrambling for it. In the end, he's able to gather it. And it's why Luton Town are able to just about survive. Just under 26 minutes gone then. Huddersfield 0, Luton 0. It's Sonny Bradley in possession here, midway inside his own half, from left to right, out to Henry Lansbury, who's dropped deep just to try and get involved. And he's played a decent-looking ball forward, away by Lees. O'Brien tries to help it on its way. It's a poor pass from him, but then an even worse pass from Pelly Ruddock. And now Danny Ward tries to break away. Good tracking back from Harry Cornick. And Cornick, who's positive, will now try and drive forward. But that's a good challenge from Pieper. Now Russell will find O'Brien, and Huddersfield will try and break again as the game gets stretched. But again, a poor pass from O'Brien in the middle of the park. The last 2 or 3 that he's attempted just haven't gone the way that he would have liked. Been poor passes, really, from the 23-year-old who should know better than that. As Lee Nichols does well to keep the ball in play, as Tom Lees just nods it back to him. Very nearly put it out for a corner, did Tom Lees there. And here's Hogg. Into Pieper, flicked on. Huddersfield almost playing one-touch football as Ward then turns and just kicks his man. The referee, who this evening is Mr. Jeff Eltringham, just saying to Danny Ward that he's got to stop putting his foot so high. Just rises it up into Henry Lansbury. I'm not sure how much contact there actually is on Lansbury, but it's enough for it to certainly be a foul. So it will be a free kick for Luton here and a chance for them to get the ball into the penalty area. This is where they're the most dangerous. They've taken the free kick quickly, though. Here's Adebayo, edge of the area, trying to dance inside now away from Jonathan Hogg. Adebayo to the byline, pulls it back. Lees will clear only as far as Amari Bell. 40 yards out to Pelly Ruddock on the left-hand side. Bright yellow boots from the central midfielder as he jinxes infield to find Lansbury. Now Bradley across to Bree on the right-hand side as Luton try and apply some pressure here. Cornick out to Onyia Dinma, who has no passing option forward, so has to go backwards to Bradley. And now Lansbury, in turn, will find Naismith, who 35 yards out. It's a dangerous cross into the box. Tom Lees scoops it away. Pieper then heads it on as Kai Naismith gets it all wrong. That's an important challenge, though, from Henry Lansbury to cover for his defender. The ball goes out of play for a throw-in on the right-hand side for Huddersfield Town. Naismith just flew in there. Absolutely. It was a bit rash from him, really. He's fortunate that nothing came of it. As Pieper tries to find Hogg. Well won back by Luton, who are the team now on the ascendancy. Cornick into Campbell. Campbell, 25 yards out, twisting, edge of the D, finding Adebayo, trying to get through. Good challenge from Tom Lees. And Lees is able to clear and may well be able to launch a counter-attack, with Sinani's pass is terrible. Picked up by Lansbury. Now on Yedimmer on the right-hand side. And this will frustrate Carlos Corberan because his side are winning the ball, they're defending pretty well, and then just gifting possession back to their visitors. Here's Lansbury. Across to Naismith. Nathan Jones jumping around in his technical area, pointing where he wants the ball to go as Adebayo goes to ground. And now Huddersfield will try and break again with Sinani on the right. there isn't the pace and the pressing from Huddersfield to get forward. Carlos Corberan barking at his side, waving his arm to try and beckon them up the pitch. Here's Toffolo now. Into Sorba Thomas, now Lewis O'Brien, back for Levi Colwill. Colwill on the halfway line, finding O'Brien just ahead of him. O'Brien finds Toffolo, who claims he's being hurled, and the referee agrees. Onyedinma just a little bit too close to him, so it will be a free kick and an opportunity for them once again to try and get the ball into the penalty area. They want to try and cause some problems when and where they can to Huddersfield Town today, because it feels like at the moment it could well be a little bit frustrating for them, and it could well be one of those games that just gets away from them. But we'll see what they can do from this set piece that Sorba Thomas lofts into the area. Decent delivery as well, headed away by, yep, you guessed it, Sonny Bradley, able to get there comfortably and clear the ball away. Now Campbell, back to Onyedinma, into Lansbury, who's beginning to dictate the play more and more, the central midfielder. Here's Naismith over the halfway line on the left-hand side. Finding Bell, back for Naismith once more. Now Bradley. Under pressure from Danny Ward, goes back to Shea, who clears the ball away right-footed. That's a great little touch, that, from Lewis O'Brien, who's then fouled, almost rugby tackled by Pelly Ruddock. Jeff Eltringham, the referee, very happy to give a free kick on that occasion. Ruddock just flexing out there his left leg. Last 2 or 3 times that I've covered Luton, Pelly Ruddock's ended up injured, and just a little bit of a collision there. He's now hobbling again, is Pelly Ruddock, almost rolling down his socks. And he's now going to go down to the ground and wait to get some treatment, because this looks like a bit of a concern for Pelly Ruddock. And it's a bit innocuous, really. It was as the legs came together, that's when it caught him. Ruddock, who's played and scored in 4 divisions for Luton Town. He's been there and done it at various levels on the as his side has progressed, as his side has got better and better. He has been a key component in that mix. Having signed from having signed from West Ham United. Scored in the National League, then in League 2 and League 1, before then getting goals over the last 3 seasons, just 6 goals from him. Just seeing again, as he got up, he immediately felt it. Didn't really feel it as he went down. Then got up and had a problem. He's made 33 appearances this season, 30 starts in the league, so he's certainly been somebody who's been involved this season, but it'll be interesting to see how much more involvement he has this evening. He's going to be helped off here by his teammate, Elijah Adebayo, who's almost carrying him off the pitch here. And it looks like that may well be it for Pelly Ruddock, who is being helped off by the physio and by Elijah Adebayo as he slows down to a walk. But I would be very, very surprised to see him stay on here. Another physio's come across now to help out and leave Adebayo. And they're literally carrying him off the pitch here. The 2 physios are struggling to carry him off as well, it has to be said. Pelly Ruddock looking in a lot of discomfort here. Something on that left leg has gone. It's a real shame to see him replaced. Just looking, he's been subbed off. This will be the 4th time this season that he's been substituted off, and I swear 3 of them have been when I've been commentating, and he's got injured, so I apologise to any Luton fans if I'm a bit of a curse for Pelly Ruddock. Robert Snodgrass is warming up and isn't quite ready to come on, so it may well be that Luton are down to 10 men just for a couple of minutes. Pelly Ruddock, you have to feel for him here. Looks in a lot of discomfort. Now he's made his way off the pitch. The game has got back underway then. 34 minutes gone, Huddersfield 0. Luton Town 0. Independent, unofficial, off-tube, studio-based coverage of this championship game, in which Huddersfield have had the better opportunities. James Shea forced into a save from Daniel Sinani and then just about bundles a ball into his hands after a shot from Sorba Thomas deflected off both Sonny Bradley and then Levi Colwill, leaving the stranded Shea feeling very fortunate that the ball just bobbled into his hands. But it's Huddersfield that are again on the ascendancy and pushing forward with Pieper out to Sinani. Pieper makes a sort of an inverted overlap, an underlap as it were, as then he backheels the ball into Amari Bell, and it will be a corner for Huddersfield Town. He's looked really, really lively as Pieper Avilia, as Robert Snodgrass comes on now for Pelly Ruddock. Snodgrass, of course, used to play not too far away at Elland Road for Leeds United, as they made their way up from League One into the Championship. He's trying to help another team to get promoted, add another promotion to his list. I think he got promoted with Norwich as well a few years ago. Ball towards an near post, headed away by Adebayo, straight back to Toffolo on his left foot. Hanging ball in from him. The header from Colwill is comfortably over the bar, so it comes to nothing. Just having a look at Pieper Avia again. He was at Huddersfield last year, signed from Espanyol the season before. It was on a free transfer apparently, so interesting that he made his way to West Yorkshire, a player that Carlos Corberán had seen as a potential threat for other sides, and he's certainly proving that tonight. I've been really impressed with him so far. As Shea lofts the ball forward for Adebayo, wins the header ahead of Tom Lees initially, and Levi Colwill has to be alert but gives the ball away to, it was Robert Snodgrass. Snodgrass goes to ground, gets back up now and will turn away and find Cornick. Cornick's touch and strike, good save from Nichols down to his right-hand side, and then Tom Lees is across to deal with it. But the first real chance for Luton Town is courtesy of Harry Cornick. Just fell to him nicely. His first touch was poor, but it sat up well, and on this wet, zipping turf at the John Smiths, Lee Nichols taking no chances as Cornick puts another dangerous ball in. Here's Amari Bell floating it into the box. It will be cleared away by Lewis O'Brien. And then Sonny Bradley lets it bounce before nodding it to Kai Naismith, who just lofts a long ball forward. Hog away. O'Brien then gives it away once again. Here's Snodgrass into Bell. Back for Snodgrass once more. He plays it from left to right to Lansbury, who gets away from O'Brien, but not away from Sorba Thomas, who does really well to find Lewis O'Brien once again. As O'Brien tries to battle away from Alan Campbell, he's then just pushed to the ground by the Scotsman. Campbell with a bit of a wry smile on his face there, but the two were battling away, and then Campbell just pushed him in the chest and pushed him over. There wasn't really much else in it. Campbell was having a couple of nibbles at him, and then, as I say, in the end, just felt the need to push him to the ground to get it done with. As Luton try and come forward down the left-hand side here with Amari Bell. I mentioned at the start how important the fullbacks would be for Luton Town this evening. Well, we've not seen much of either of them. Amari Bell and Fred Onyedinma haven't been able to get into those positions to put crosses in. So far, they've been well marshalled by Harry Toffolo and Pieper. Just how long will that last, though? That's the key. Luton, who aren't known for finishing strongly, should I say. They're normally quite resolute and don't concede too many, but don't score many in the second half. So it feels like something has to happen here for them. Snodgrass over the free kick, as he drills it into the penalty area, away by Tom Lees, back up in the air by Onyedinma, and then helped away by Daniel Sinani. James Bree will bring the ball down and play it back to his goalkeeper, James Shea. And now Bradley. 38.5 minutes gone. It's Huddersfield 0, Luton 0 in this independent, unofficial, off-tube, studio-based coverage of the Sky Bet Championship this evening with myself, Jack Deaton. Huddersfield probably the better side on the balance of the half. They've had the better chances, but Luton have just been slowly, at times, slowly getting into the game, then drifting away and allowing Huddersfield back on top, and then begin to assert themselves once more as Colwill goes backwards to Hogg. sat behind the two centre-halves on the edge of his own 18-yard box, Jonathan Hogg. He finds Russell. Now Lees. Lansbury's going to step across, so he vaults the leg almost of Henry Lansbury. A free kick in a position that Sorba Thomas will look to try and whip this towards the back post and try and cause a few problems. Luton's line is pretty high. It's about 10 yards outside the 18-yard box as Thomas floats it deep. Oh, and it's just out the stretch of Levi Colwill, who's claiming that he's fouled here. Colwill furious with the fact that the referee and the assistant haven't seen it. Colwill just looking, and there's a little bit of a touch on the back by Kai Naismith. And Naismith does grab the shoulder of Colwill. I don't know whether he drags him down because I don't know whether there's enough contact really to justify him going down. I think it's one of those, if the ball is within the reach of Colwill, he shrugs it off and takes the shot on. Because it was out of his reach, he's clutching at straws and doing his best to try and win his... Perhaps in the Premier League they would have looked at it on VAR, not in the Championship. You don't get any of that. Here is James Bree. 3.5 minutes to go until the break. I'd expect there to be probably 3 minutes added on at the end of this first half, predominantly for Pelly Ruddock's injury. As Adebayo brings it down brilliantly on his chest and now finds Bree breaking forward on the right-hand side. Bree into Onyedinma, who's coming back from an offside position. So it will be a free kick. Then Good Friday poses another big test for Luton Town. They take on informed Nottingham Forest, third in the league at the moment, 5 wins in a row for them. Whereas Huddersfield face QPR, who are dropping like a stone at the moment. Mark Warburton under loads of pressure as the R's boss. Gone from being a playoff contender to now looking like a mid-table side. As James Shea takes his time here, just holding the ball in his 18-yard box, waits for Danny Ward to step up, and Ward's just going to stand in front of Shea here, waiting for the goal spree in the end. And now Colwill will loft a long ball forward down the left-hand channel for Thomas, who can't bring it down first time around. He puts pressure on Bree, though, and it will be a throw-in level with the edge of the 18-yard box for Huddersfield here, deep inside Luton territory. Toffolo, the man with the ball in his hand, looking at options around him, goes down the line, well read by Onyedinma, who clears, manages to find Harry Cornick somehow. Now Lansbury with a long ball forward. Adebayo in a foot race with Jonathan Hogg, and it's a race that Adebayo will win and brings it down on this near right-hand side by the corner flag. He has to walk back up the touchline up against Hogg, who's just watching the ball. Adebayo trying to twist and turn away from him. Hogg does well to just hold him up there, slow down the move and make sure Luton can't launch something quickly. Here's Snodgrass, 25 yards from goal, from right to left for Naismith. Out to Bell, back for Naismith again, who clips it into the area high, hanging up towards Adebayo, who goes down. Onyedinma will bring it down on this right-hand edge of the 18-yard box, near side as I see it. Back now for Snodgrass, onto his left foot. He will drill it into the box, away by Colwill. As I was about to say, maybe a chance for Huddersfield to break. Danny Ward fouls Henry Lansbury. It will be a Luton free kick, and Lansbury's down here, holding his shin. Looks in some discomfort here. Not sure exactly what happens with Lansbury. Just seeing again. And there might be a little clip from an errant stud from Danny Ward as he goes down. Certainly doesn't mean to catch him, doesn't Ward? As Lansbury slowly gets back to his feet here. The ball in the hands of Kai Naismith. Lansbury just says, I'll take the ball, thank you very much, and puts it down himself as we head towards time added on at the end of this first half. Just looking at Cameron Jerome sat in the stands watching on, not available today. As Naismith and Lansbury both step towards the ball. It's lofted in now. Here's Bree bringing it down edge of the penalty area under plenty of pressure. James Bree goes backwards up the touchline. It's just oh no, it's not kept in play by Naismith. So it will be a Huddersfield throw-in midway inside their own half. We're 15 seconds into 2 minutes added on then. At the end of this first half, Huddersfield 0, Luton 0. Looking at Adebayo and Cornick between them. Adebayo's lost possession 8 times, Cornick 5 times in the game so far. 17 touches for Adebayo, 10 for Cornick. And they're losing the ball